For centuries, the Bible has served as a spiritual guide, but its historical reliability has often been questioned. Did the events it describes really happen? Or are they just stories passed down through generations? Surprisingly, modern archaeology has uncovered compelling evidence that brings biblical narratives to life. Today, we'll focus on three monumental discoveries that not only validate the Bible's accounts, but also captivate the imagination. The walls of Jericho. A miraculous collapse? The story of Jericho is legendary. The Israelites, newly freed from Egypt, march around the city for 7 days. On the seventh day, they blow their trumpets and the walls miraculously collapse. For centuries, skeptics dismissed this as a fantastical tale. But then the spades of archaeologists began uncovering truths buried in the soil. In the early 20th century, archaeologist John Garstang began excavating Tel es-Sultan, the site identified as ancient Jericho. He discovered the remains of a city whose walls had not just fallen, but had collapsed outward. This was a critical detail because in traditional sieges, walls collapse inward due to battering rams or fire. The outward collapse matched the Bible's account of divine intervention. Later in the 1950s, Kathleen Kenyon's more advanced excavations revealed something even more fascinating. Layers of ash and burnt debris, indicating that Jericho had been destroyed by fire, just as the Bible describes in Joshua 6:24. Radiocarbon dating places this destruction around 1400 BCE, a timeline consistent with the biblical conquest of Canaan. Skeptics often argue that religious texts embellish, but Jericho's archaeological record tells a story too precise to ignore. The walls didn't just crumble, they fell in a way that defies natural explanation. Could this be evidence of a divine act, or simply a historical coincidence? The House of David, a king beyond myth. For a long time, King David was considered more myth than man. Critics argued he was a fictional hero, a symbol of Israel's aspirations, rather than a historical ruler. That skepticism was shattered in 1993 when archaeologists uncovered a fragment of basalt known as the Tel Dan inscription. This 9th century BCE artifact, found in northern Israel, contains a direct reference to the House of David. It was written by an Aramean king boasting of victories over Israel and Judah. This phrase was monumental. It marked the first time David's name appeared in a historical context outside the Bible. Why does this matter? Because it confirms David wasn't just a legendary figure, he was a real king whose dynasty shaped history. The Bible's description of David as the founder of a powerful lineage suddenly gained archaeological backing. Imagine the awe of standing before a piece of stone inscribed over 2,800 years ago, realizing it bridges the gap between ancient texts and historical reality. And it doesn't stop there. Excavations in Jerusalem have uncovered structures dating to David's time, including what some believe to be his palace. While debates among scholars continue, the evidence increasingly points to David as a historical figure, one whose impact echoes across millennia. Hezekiah's tunnel, engineering genius, or biblical prophecy? The Bible often intertwines the miraculous with the mundane, and nowhere is this clearer than in the story of King Hezekiah. Faced with an impending siege by the Assyrian army, Hezekiah devised a plan to secure Jerusalem's water supply. The Bible recounts how he constructed a tunnel to divert water from the Gihon spring into the city, 2 Kings 20:20. This might sound like an exaggeration, but Hezekiah's tunnel is real, and you can walk through it today. Discovered in the 19th century and fully excavated later, this 1,750-foot-long tunnel winds through solid rock, a testament to ancient engineering. What makes it even more incredible is the inscription found within the tunnel, describing how two teams of workers started at opposite ends and met in the middle, a remarkable feat for its time. Archaeologists have dated the tunnel to around 700 BCE, aligning perfectly with Hezekiah's reign. This engineering marvel didn't just secure Jerusalem's water supply, it stands as a physical reminder of the Bible's historical accuracy. The Assyrian siege, detailed in both the Bible and Assyrian records, ended with Jerusalem's survival, an outcome attributed to both Hezekiah's ingenuity and divine intervention. A bridge between faith and history. These archaeological discoveries don't just confirm isolated details of the Bible. They bring its stories to life. Jericho's fallen walls, the Tel Dan inscriptions, mention of David, and Hezekiah's tunnel all point to a profound truth. The Bible isn't just a collection of myths. It's rooted in the real events, people, and struggles of the ancient world. But the real magic of these findings isn't just in proving the Bible right, it's in the way they connect us to